My name's Larry Hentz. I'm the Executive Director for Prince George's County Economic Development Corporation and the host of Business Spotlight. We're going to go today and meet with Bernard Wright, the President and CEO of Wave Welcome. Come on, let's go learn something. Bernard, thank you very much for allowing me to come in here and sit down with you. I'm really looking forward to it.
Yeah, I appreciate it.
Oh, no. I got to tell you right off. My first question is, tell me about the name. What is the backstory on the name of your company?
Yeah, so for years, I was really focused on the lack of diversity at the top levels of technology. So when I was CIO for Prince George's County, I really started to focus on what it took in order for a person to become CIO. And, looked back across my career and realized that it wasn't just CIO positions, it was IT leaders, IT managers. There tends to be less representation. So what I did back then, and this was at least 10 years ago, is just formed an acronym called With a Vision Enterprises. And what I was looking to do there is to really create a career pipeline that brought people along. So that's really what WAVE stands for and why the WAVE is capitalized. It means for With a Vision Enterprises. But the focus here is to really make sure that this is a landing spot for diverse talent. And the goal is really to get them up to the top levels of technology, not just to be help desk technicians.
Most people go into business, become entrepreneurs like yourself, because honestly, they're trying to make a living. They're trying to maybe leave a legacy for their families. But I heard you, while you had a nice government job, you decided at that time, based on the things that you saw and experienced and felt, that you needed to be part of the solution of what you saw was a problem.
What tends to happen in the Black community is we feel like we can either focus on the social sides of things or we focus on the corporate money-making side of things. But there's a principle that is being focused on right now, not just for smaller organizations, but very large organizations are focused on conscious capitalism. So conscious capitalism is really looking to measure the different types of capital, not just profits, the financial capital, but taking a look at social capital, which are your networks, human capital, which is people, and natural capital, which is the environment as well. So what we're really looking to do with this organization, don't get me wrong, I'm just as competitive as everyone else. We are looking to make money, but I don't believe that by focusing on social and human capital that we're forsaking financial capital. I think that there is still a business opportunity in it. So some organizations like Mars Corporation and others are very focused on seeing how you can pull levers in different places and still make money as a result. A good example of that would be, and you see organizations automatically do it, if someone is looking to do business with EDC, they know that they're coming to a Black county. So a lot of times the business development person, they're going to make sure the one Black person who's in the company is coming to talk to EDC. So that's where, they have to make sure that they're focusing on making sure that diverse talent exists, because coming in with someone who's not reflective of who you're talking to can affect your business. So what we're looking to do here is to take a look at where there's an opportunity to tap into talent. You hear oftentimes that there just are not enough people in IT to meet the demand for jobs that exist. So what we're looking to do is to develop that talent, not just, like I said, to be help desk technicians, but to really teach a lot of the different things across the board that you need in order to be effective in technology, so we're able to meet that demand as the jobs evolve and change.
Excellent. All right, so let's talk a little bit about the services and products that you offer here with your organization. Tell me about it.
So with Wave Welcome, what we're looking to do is to really offer that same level of services that we offered when I was CIO for the different places. So what happens with a lot of IT managed services firm is they lead with technology. They say, okay, hey, here's the laptop you need, here is the software you need on that laptop, here's the network you need, and they really don't understand the organization.
Right.
So what we look to do is we go in with an IT assessment to say, okay, here's where your gaps are, here's what your strategy is,
Yes.
and here's how technology can support your strategy.
So wait a minute, stop for me. So basically you start with, this is what you're currently doing,
Right.
and this is how you're currently doing it.
Mm-hmm.
And if you want to increase productivity or success, let's say, these are, you make one suggestion or several suggestions?
No, so what we do is we take a look at everything across the board.
Okay.
And one of the first questions I ask any prospective customer is, do you have a strategic plan? If you don't, that's perfectly fine,
Right.
but I do want to understand where you want to be as an organization.
So you are trying to help them for the long term.
Absolutely. So sometimes, and the reason I do that is technology is not the only answer. So technology is certainly, I mean, I am a technologist, is what I've done for a long time.
Right.
But sometimes it means doing things differently, changing your processes.
Yes.
It might mean changing your people and, not advocating for layoffs, but
Right.
it might mean retooling people.
Yes.
Giving them a different way of doing things, making sure people are trained. And technology is the last thing we do.
Which is interesting because it's the first thing that changes within a work environment. When I think of the differences just in our phones over the last 10 years, but yet people will, from a business standpoint, will stick with systems that are 15 years old.
Right.
Because historically they've been successful until
Well,
they're not.
That's right.
But you're going in, if I hear you correctly, you're saying, yes, you may be successful, but you're not as successful as you can be.
That's right. And you brought up an interesting point. You talked about systems that where people say, hey, we've been successful doing this thing for a long time. And that's often where technology projects fail. It's with people. Technology is the easy part.
Okay.
I mean,
Right.
we can there's no shortage of people that can come in and install whatever
Right.
system you need.
Yes.
But it's understanding how that person is going to use the system, understanding how the process can be better. I mean, and here's an analogy that I got from someone I used to work with some years ago.
Okay.
You can have this process that is incredibly inefficient, but people know how to use it because they've been there for decades. You come in with a new technology and you're automating that process, all you've done is made a bad process run faster. So you need to take a look at the underlying process first and see how it can become more efficient and automate that.
Okay.
And then make sure that as it's automated, that the people who are going to be using that process understand how to support it.
Well, how long have you been in business?
So we've been in business, we started June of 2020.
Yes.
I've been full-time.
June of 2020.
June of 2020.
When COVID hit.
Absolutely.
In March the 13th, 2020, when everything shut down.
Yeah, so I made the, what some people would say was an ill-informed decision to start a company in the middle of COVID, and I went full-time October 1st. Our journey has been a little unconventional in that from the fourth month we have been in the black.
Wow.
We have always been profitable. Sometimes, to the point like right now it's tax time, and I'm worried about how profitable we've been over the last year, but it has been a good ride.
But
for
if you're
us.
going to have a problem, that's the problem you want to have.
Yeah.
So, but during this point before you reach, let's call it stability, did you ever doubt and say to yourself, I may have made a bad decision?
So yeah, absolutely, absolutely, 100%. I was making over $300,000 a year, and I was, it was a job, but I wasn't happy. Probably first week I knew it was a matter of time. It just didn't feel like a good fit.
Yes.
For 25 years, I got a paycheck every 2 weeks. So the first time that paycheck doesn't hit in 2 weeks, that's when it got real. Because like I said, these were big paychecks that were coming in.
Yes.
These are big paychecks. And
Yes.
that first time you look at that account, no, it didn't hit. And I'm sitting up at nighttime and I said, man, what did I do?
Okay, so what kept you going?
Because I knew and this is what keeps me going now, there is no going back. Help isn't coming. I know that if I go get another CIO job, I'm doing them a disservice because I'm not going to be happy. This is what I want to do. So if this were to fail, which it's not, I'd go do something else.
How has the county, if at all, been of any help to you in this success in this process?
Well, the county has been absolutely incredible. I did approach the county and said, okay, you know what? I'm ready for an office space. So I started with Innovation Station under EDC.
So go into an incubator space.
I went into an incubator space. That was number one. Then when I got into the incubator space, just the relationships with other small businesses, so us comparing notes
Yes,
and
the networking.
the networking. It's just been so many different things that the county has helped me with. In addition to that, the county has also, sent me different opportunities that I could take a look at. The Project Restore grant,
Yes.
Which we were a winner of it. One thing we're taking a look at now is the Economic Development Incentive Fund to continue our growth, because this year we're projecting some pretty significant things happening. And one of the challenges of being successful is, guess what? Now you've got to pay for it all.
That's right.
So there's that 60-day window
Yes.
where, okay, you've got the work, you've got to pay people for 30 days.
How do you ramp
then
up?
you invoice. So it's effectively 60 days, and you've ramped up in a major way. So that's where things like the Economic Development Incentive Fund and FSC First
Yes.
are invaluable. So I mean, it really does take a little bit of the load off your shoulders.
You and I are sitting here talking because, well, we've spent some time together, and obviously I have some idea of what you do here, but I'm sure that our viewing audience may not. So why don't you just take a moment and share exactly what you do here?
One of the things about being a small business owner is initially, from top to bottom, you're doing a lot of it. And, one of the things that makes it even more interesting for me is that my degree isn't in information technology, it's in business administration.
Okay.
So I have a background in HR, contracts, finance,
Skills that you need to run a business.
Absolutely.
Yes.
So I find myself getting into all of those different things a little too much.
What advice or lessons learned would you like to share with up-and-coming entrepreneurs that or desire to do what you do?
Number one, identify a mentor. Identify someone you can vent to, because this gets tough sometimes. Really does. You have to have someone to talk to, and the mental health issues are real, because you do have those dark nights where things aren't necessarily going the way you planned.
Yes.
So you've got to have someone to bounce that off of and help validate your approach or give you some advice. In addition to that, is to find what resources are available. I mean, we talked about how Prince George's County has been very helpful for me, and there are lots of resources for small business owners. So just go and reach out to Economic Development Corporation. Employ Prince George's is another one where, they have a rapid reemployment grant. So when you get to the point where you're ready to make a hire, that program is available. So it's those kinds of things where you don't have to do it by yourself.
So what is next for your organization?
So we're going through the process of pursuing our 8A certification right now. We're also pursuing our GSA schedule.
Okay.
So the goal is really, we have done federal work, but I want to do work as a prime. So that's number one. We are pursuing those federal certifications. Number two is we're deploying a mobile app right now.
Really?
So this mobile app, what it does is automates the process of identifying what your technology needs are. So a lot of what we're doing right now as a business, we've automated that process. So you come in.
So you're going to use technology to automate
Absolutely.
technology.
There you go. There you go. That's right. So you come in, there's an IT assessment that you start with in the beginning, and based on what's in that IT assessment, it develops a roadmap for you.
Yes.
And that roadmap is essentially measuring how likely you are to be hit by a ransomware attack or a data breach, and what you need to do to close those gaps.
Okay.
Then in addition to that, what it does is it connects you with the IT products and experts who can help close those gaps. So we're just completely automating that whole matchmaking process for small and medium-sized organizations. What I'd like for Prince George's County to do is to focus on technology as an industry. So a lot of what we're doing is making sure that, number one, there are tech jobs available for anyone who lives in Prince George's County and is interested and qualified. Number two is we want to make sure that we're saying that Prince George's County is very good at some specific type of technology. So we're looking to develop that.
All right.
Number 3 is we're looking to make sure we're working with colleges and universities to make sure that what they're teaching young people is aligned with what industry is looking for. And one of the things that won't show up about Wave Welcome is I'm looking to make sure we're in the middle of all of that.
Okay.
You know, so we are looking, you know, what we hire is diverse talent. And of course, diversity means a lot of different things.
Yes.
We're not looking to overemphasize one type of diversity and, you know,
At the expense of
at
another.
the expense of another. But long term, I really would like for Wave Welcome to be one of the first generically created billion-dollar tech firms in Prince George's County.
Wow.
And that's what I'm focused on.
That's what you're focused on.
If I miss it and get to 700 million, I'm fine with that.
Bernard, I just want to thank you for your time.
Absolutely.
But
Thank you.
mostly, I want to thank you for the conversation.
Absolutely.
I've
My
truly
pleasure.
enjoyed it.
Thank you.
Well, I hope you guys enjoyed yourself as much as I did. I truly learned something today. I've met someone, spent some time with someone that actually created a company to create a legacy of wealth for others, a pipeline of opportunity. I don't know about you, but I find that greatly encouraging. Well, I hope you stay with us as we continue to keep our business spotlight on. And remember, follow us on all social media platforms and pgcedc.com. See you next time.